Okay, so they're giving all the money to charity, I think, aren't they? And now, so it's back to back to back to back Christmas number ones, more than the Beatles, which I think it is. Frankly, it makes me want to walk into the sea, that idea that we've got Lad Baby, who's now got more Christmas number ones.
Well, it's more of it about sausage rolls. That's not even...
They're all about sausage rolls.
Pigs in blankets I could get on board with.
And he's not even making the money.
End.
Welcome to Polishing Turds with Nick and Cal. My name is Nick.
And I am Cal.
And this is the show where we take a deep dive into the wonderful world of maritime contract law. You see, the 1920 Merchant Marine Act was a highly protectionist policy. It was very controversial. No, okay, I'm kidding. We're doing music. We're doing music again. We're doing bad music. We're talking about bad Christmas music. Yay! Holiday Special 2024! Oh.
Do you think we will ever hit the bottom of the well on bad Christmas songs?
Oh God, it seems impossible. Like there's so much bad shit that we haven't talked about. Even scouring YouTube bad Christmas songs is, you know.
Well, that's the thing. There's so much bad music out there because of the internet. Some of it's so bad it's almost like not worth our time.
Yeah.
We have to pick what's fun bad.
When I did the pandering Christmas special last year, there were a couple of categories that were like on the bubble of consideration for me. One of them was like all the like naughty Christmas songs, of which there are voluminous amounts of, you know, I'm gonna stuff your stockings or what the fuck ever.
Why is that?
It's
of all the topics to have a bunch of naughty parody songs, Christmas seems like the obvious one, but why?
I don't know. People want to sexualize everything. And I think it's because every family man and woman is forced into Christmas somehow. And maybe this is a way to entice some of the men who are maybe not getting into the Christmas spirit as much. Like Mama Claus has to like turn on the juice a little bit.
They should make one where the parents forget to go downstairs and put the presents under the tree because they were too busy banging all night.
Yeah, and then the kids are crying downstairs. Yeah. The parents don't
Santa
hear it.
Santa didn't come this year because Daddy was getting busy.
Santa came all right. Dude, I've been noticing a very disturbing trend in Christmas music because now that I'm back in the retail world, I'm exposed to a lot more of it once again. Now, thankfully, the place that I work at, they don't do exclusively Christmas music. They have their regular playlist, which also is a minefield of a lot of bad songs, but they kind of supplement the regular playlist with Christmas songs. So now it's like 10 to 15% Christmas, you know, at this point. But I'm noticing that so many of the songs that they play are just covers of Last Christmas and Wonderful Christmas Time. I hear the original versions of both of those songs, but then there are like 4 or 5 covers on this playlist of those two specific songs.
That should be against the Geneva Convention.
Like, why did we decide that now there are only 2 modern Christmas quote-unquote classics and everybody just has to go into the studio and do them?
It's because you're letting liberals win, man. It's happy holidays now, and we're just not writing Christmas songs anymore.
That's not supposed to happen anymore. We had elected a fascist to get rid of all this. All right. Well, I hope that you guys are simply having a wonderful Christmas time. We are relishing, Cal, I think you'll agree, the opportunity to do a low-effort mini-sode after that Ice Earth fucking monstrosity that we just finally finished.
We're recording this, actually, I think maybe the earliest we've ever recorded in the morning.
Yeah.
And normally I would not be down, but given that it's Christmas episode and we're just giving it a nice 6 out of 10 effort here. I don't mind.
No, it's a welcome change of pace that I don't have to pour through academic texts to come up with a story about a band. But obviously with Christmas, there are so many directions that we can go. There are so many choices for bad music that we can talk about. We've gone a different direction every year. And for this year, I'm really excited about the choice that we've made. I think this is going to be one of those episodes, Cal, that it's going to start out kind of normal. You're going to go like, oh, that's not so bad. And then gradually over the course of the episode, we're going to have more and deeper what the fuck moments.
Sure.
And
okay, so like Apocalypse Now, except Christmas music.
Exactly. The subject of this year's holiday special is a sacred tradition from a foreign culture which Cal and I are going to systematically rip into shreds, just like Jesus would have wanted. Specifically, we are talking about the strange tradition of UK Christmas number ones. Now, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, that's okay. I didn't know about it myself until some of our British fans introduced me to the concept. And it's one of those things that's just kind of kept cropping up over the years as I've done research for this podcast. I kept noticing that there's this thing, a Christmas number one, that British people in particular seem to pay a lot of attention to. So, here's what it's all about. Each year, for reasons unknown to God or man, the British public gets really hyped up over which song is going to land at the top of the charts on Christmas Day. It's considered an incredible honor, the UK equivalent of winning the Tour de France, the Monaco Grand Prix, or the Nathan's hot dog eating contest.
That's not a joke. We take that shit deadly seriously.
No, I was literally trying to say, like, what is the greatest honor for every individual culture that I can think of? And in America, no, it's...
I genuinely love the Nathan's hot dog eating contest because it is such a slap in the face to the rest of humanity.
to the very concept of really food.
Yeah, that's when humans have gone too far.
It's like it's really just, it's a slap in the face to evolution. Yes. Because you're eating in a way that not only is gluttonous, but also not nutritious.
No,
not about the food.
It's not like we picked carrots or something, or like something delicious. We picked blended pig parts.
Yeah, blended pig parts.
We've slurried all the pigs. We're ready for you. It's Nathan's contest.
From fucking millions of pigs that we've treated in the most miserable way possible, ground them up into little machines, threw away most of their actually nutritious parts, and then processed it into this inedible thing that we force people to shove down their throats and throw up later.
My favorite part too is that he's taking it to a competitive level. So he's not just eating 54 hot dogs because he's practiced this shit. The man has eaten thousands of hot dogs through the course of the year to get to that point.
No, and they are true athletes, like football players or wrestlers or porn stars, anybody who gets their body to do completely unnatural things, like, hats off.
Yeah. So if you've never sat down and watched the whole Nathan's contest and questioned yourself, all of humanity, and what we're even doing as a species, I recommend it. It's a good way to spend a Sunday.
Absolutely. I'd rather watch that than the Olympics. The race to score the Christmas number one is discussed in British newspapers and TV shows, and bookies even offer betting odds over it. The UK Christmas number one is one of those weird cultural phenomena that began almost randomly and carried through year after year through sheer inertia. What's fascinating to me is the sheer variety of tunes that have made their way to the top of this list. Past Christmas number ones have included contributions from charity movements, school choirs, YouTube stars, novelty acts, and even a backlash against the institution itself. Indeed, to study the history of this chart is to explore all the insidious ways by which consumerism and viral memes worm their way into the fabric of music. All right, are you ready, Cal?
I am actually ready.
Let's pause some bloody Christmas tunes, mate! Yeah, so like I said, we're going to start off with some fairly normal-ish Christmas songs. That was the song Merry Xmas, everyone. And I'm pronouncing it that way because that's how it's spelled, with the X.
I love the Futurama joke where, like, way in the future, they've canonically changed it to Xmas. That's the name now.
It's Xmas. That was by Slade.
Yeah, that's a band I have actually heard of.
They were really huge in Britain. They did the song Come On Feel the Noise before Quiet Riot did that version. They're fun. They're one of those just really corny looking, like all about over the top costumes and clearly a lot of cocaine.
Yep.
That was a good era for rock and roll. I liked when you should be able to go to a concert and get blinded by the reflection of somebody's rhinestone suit. But it's a good way to kick off this Christmas special. So how did it all begin? Well, the UK singles chart was officially created in 1952, tracking weekly sales throughout the country and publishing them in the magazine New Musical Express, or NME. But for the first 20 years or so, nobody paid particular attention to which song was number one on Christmas week. However, all of that changed in 1973, when out of nowhere, two glam rock bands released Christmas songs that competed for the top of the chart. The first was Slade's Merry Xmas, Everybody, the song that we just played for you, and the other song was by a band called Wizard called I Wish It Could Be Christmas Every Day.
It's funny how quickly my enthusiasm is just drained out of me. What? These are the good ones?
I have been told that like both this song and the one we just played for you, it may be your first time hearing those if you're an American listener, but if you grew up in Britain, you hear that song every year anytime you go into a shopping mall.
Yeah,
a pub.
It's like our fucking Mariah Carey.
Exactly, yeah. In fact, one of our listeners described that song as the 9/11 for retail workers.
Every retail worker has that one song. It's just like, why did this get written?
Yeah, oh my God. And I also just got a comment because we watched the video from like, I think it was Top of the Pops, or something. Just if you don't know what these guys look like, the lead singer of this band is dressed as Santa, but he has a natural gray beard.
Yeah.
So he actually looks more like the actual Saint Nicholas from like 1908 or whatever.
He's rail thin.
Yeah.
He looks like White Walker Santa.
Like he looks like the old school real like Turkish Santa Claus. Mm-hmm. Like everyone in this band is like in massive hippie mode, like just gigantic fucking hair, like just complete insanity.
Yeah, it's a mildly terrifying video.
And then they have like all these children on stage dancing with them, and it just like you would never naturally want anyone who looks like this band around children.
No. Yeah, you want to tell them to run.
Yeah.
That is not the real Santa. That's Krampus.
Yeah. But it's amazing that, something like that could be a number one or I guess number two hit back in the day. Because I don't think any guys that look like that would have a prayer today. So both of those songs came out in 1973, and that was the first year that the Christmas number one became a big deal. And ever since then, artists and labels have competed ferociously for the honor, while the British public waited with bated breath for the winner to be announced. Now, although many Christmas number ones are what you might call proper Christmas songs, many more are not. In fact, quite often, the Christmas number one is just a regular pop song that happened to be really popular in late December. For example, the 1981 Christmas number one was the song Don't You Want Me by the Human League. Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody was number one in 1975. That was, of course, when it first came out. And then it was also the Christmas number one in 1991. And I'm pretty sure that's because it was right after Freddie Mercury had died. But it remains the only song to become a Christmas number one twice. Also, in the mid-90s, the Spice Girls had 3 consecutive Christmas number ones, none of which were Christmas songs. This is just the era where the Spice Girls dominated everything.
Yep.
If you rode a school bus in the 90s, you remember that for sure. And you might think that the aforementioned Wonderful Christmas Time by Sir Paul McCartney was the number one Christmas song when it was released in 1979. But you'd be wrong. That year, it was actually beat out by none other than Pink Floyd with Another Brick in the Wall Part 2.
Thank God. If I didn't already need another reason to love Pink Floyd.
We don't need your stupid keyboards. No, thank God that that sanity prevailed, at least very briefly in that year. But even so, during each of those years, there were at least a few Christmas songs in the running for Christmas number one. There's always somebody trying, with like their own little Christmas thing. And therefore, every year, every August, you could reliably expect record labels to drag their hottest products into the studio with the hopes of cashing in on that coveted Christmas hit.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're going to be seeing a lot of otherwise decent or maybe even good artists temporarily lose their mind in pursuit of this trophy.
I can't think of any artist that was mediocre, but then came up with a Christmas banger. Maybe that person exists. Like maybe where like the entire, I don't know who wrote Frosty the Snowman, but like I would love to look into it and find out if the rest of his songs are just utter shit. But he just happened to cobble something together when he wrote Frosty the Snowman.
The guy who did the Peanuts soundtrack. That's his lore to me.
Yeah.
It's Vince something. Vince something starts with a G, but that album rules. But I've never heard of him doing anything else. Maybe
true.
That's his story.
Maybe the rest of his songs were just like novelty blue tunes about yanking the brassiers off of girls. I don't know.
There you go.
But obviously, when you have so many artists and labels trying desperately to create a Christmas song for the purpose of getting that Christmas number one, you're going to get some fairly bland, sappy-ass Christmas songs. This is what we mean by low effort. We're
Christmas chongs.
Like, normally we would have done a second take, but fuck it. You're going to get some sappy Christmas songs topping the charts over the years. And a perfect example of this is the 1988 Christmas number one, a song by Cliff Richard called Mistletoe and Wine.
Christmas time, mistletoe and wine, children singing Christian rhyme.
All right, hold up. We heard that piece of shit before.
Oh shit, you're right, Cal. That was in our 2022 special, wasn't it?
Yeah. I had heard of UK Christmas songs. I didn't put it all together that this was a thing that has occurred through time immemorial.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, since we've already subjected our audience to Cliff Richard's, we're going to play you his other Christmas number one, released 2 years later in 1990. This one is called Savior's Day. Hey, maybe it's better. Maybe it's not a piece of shit.
Yeah, I'm sure this will rock.
For the Savior's Day. Many have come from the valleys, many have come from the hills, and many have started their journey home to be with someone on the Savior's Day.
Oh my God, how is it worse?
Those fucking flutes, man. It's like a failed bootleg adaptation of The Hobbit from the 70s or something, you know?
Oh, man. Well, I liked nothing about that song.
No, but like, you know, like you said last year, Cal, like, it is at least obvious that this guy is an actual Christian and is doing it from a sincere perspective.
Well, it's funny we say that, but in the back of my head, though, too, I feel like he's out cougar hunting.
he could be both. You know,
I get to praise the Lord and bang all the old wine moms that love this.
Honestly, it is a respectable hustle, in my opinion. If I was a different type of person that was a little less scrupulous, maybe a little bit more able to bullshit, I might try to run that kind of game myself.
Yeah, go the CCM path.
It's just like that the sex has to just be so guilt-free, you know, because like it's, I don't know, something, I feel like, don't you feel like something about it would be like different if like they think that they're doing it in the name of the Lord? You know?
Yes. No, this is proven.
I think they bring out a little extra heat.
The internet has taught me this. The hyper-religious girls are the wildest.
Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. Now, bringing us back to our theoretical main subject, as cheesy as that song was, it is at least a normal-sounding song from an established artist. However, some Christmas number ones truly seem to have come out of left field, or whatever the equivalent of left field is in cricket, I guess. Maybe it is just left field.
I don't know.
DM us.
Yeah.
DM
us the entire rule set of cricket.
Yeah, just send me the 6-minute YouTube video that explains it. I'll watch it and then immediately forget it. Except I know that there's something called a wicket in there, which I feel like nothing that's named a wicket belongs in like professional sports. That seems like just dangerously wrong somehow. But that is the case with the 1980 Christmas number one. Cal, this is the first true, like, what the fuck song that we're gonna cover. This song is a lot creepier and frankly much more British, in my view, than anything that we have discussed thus far. The name of the song is, I just want you guys to just imagine, like, what could this be like when I give you the name of the song? The name of the song is There's No One Quite Like Grandma. There's No One Quite Like Grandma, performed by the St. Winifred's School Choir.
That was a number one?
That was a number one Christmas song.
Reality is being torn asunder.
The British people are capable of things that you never thought possible. That's really the lesson that I want to convey with this episode is like every now and then these people who once conquered 25% of the known world will make choices that just belie any sane notions of a civilized people.
Beans on toast is certainly a choice. You guys do it.
So yeah, that was a real schoolgirls choir by the St. Winifred's School. Apparently, this normal ass school choir had recorded like songs dating back to like the 70s. They put out 9 albums in 10 years, apparently, which is
quite prolific.
You know, for an adult choir, frankly, but like to force kids into that.
I know, they're not even doing like kids bop. It sounds like they're actually writing songs.
Yeah, no, like they are really putting these kids through the ringer.
Yeah, and that song became the inspiration for King Diamond's Them album. There's going to be like 10 metalheads that have heard that are like...
Again, we were watching the video of that, and when I first saw it, I couldn't help but imagine that all 40 of those kids did have the same grandma they were singing to. And I imagine like maybe this woman, was just like banging dudes left and right during the war.
If she had 7 or 8 kids and each of them had 7 or 8 kids,
no, like
you could have 40 kids singing a grandma song.
Yeah, like no, this woman was just churning them out in the 40s. Like
we used to call her Easy Agnes.
You killed 10 Germans, you get to go shag Agnes. And that's how they won the war. Obviously, there's a gimmick to that song. It's pandering to like any family that has a grandma.
Right.
And they play it for grandma. It's like, oh lovely. There's this quote I found from a Guardian retrospective on this song. They wrote, "Inevitably, it was the parents that bought it, if only to save Grandma the embarrassment at being the only one in the care home who hadn't received a copy."
That's like a status thing in the home.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I've got mine. Did you get sent one?
Yeah. It's like they dropped that album off at the nursing home. It's like, all right, Grandma, like just, oh, look at this. Look what the kids bought you. It's a little lovely. There's a little girl singing. Oh, you should tell the nurse to change your bedpan more often. All right, see you in 6 months.
I'll trade you 1 Hummel for that CD so I can pretend I have grandchildren.
But yeah, there you go. There's no one quite like Grandma. I'm sure every copy of that single that was ever sold was played once, and exactly once. So if you want to find a pristine copy of that album on Discogs, I'm sure that you can.
It's like those like cards you open that plays a little song. It's like the gimmick lasts exactly that long.
Exactly. But the tradition of the UK Christmas #1 continued to evolve, and in 1984, the concept was given a new twist when charity supergroup Band-Aid released their single, "Do They Know It's Christmas?", a song which raised millions of pounds for Ethiopian famine victims and just might have helped a military junta perpetuate an ongoing genocide. Now, I know what you're thinking, guys. That sounds fascinating. I would love to hear you two guys talk about it for, say, 2.5 hours. Well, I've got some great news for you. Check out our Live Aid episode from this year. You will learn way more than you ever cared to know about all that shit. This whole episode, there's gonna be a lot of retreating over past concepts.
We've been around long enough that we can do a kind of clip show episode.
Yeah. But what were your initial impressions of "Do They Know It's Christmas" when you first heard it?
It just felt patronizing a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Well, this song was just really huge in '84, and it got that way basically because Bob Geldof, the guy who organized it, just like almost literally bullied an entire country into buying this single.
Speaking of him, do you know how much more times he's come up now since we did that episode? Like, I see that motherfucker everywhere.
Really?
Yeah, he's just... Anytime I'm on Reddit and I'm on a music site, it seems like he's been around, at least for British people, way more famous than I understood.
I think the Boomtown Rats were actually pretty big for a while.
Yeah, and then he himself, his name is just synonymous with charitable music now.
No, he became like a saint after, like, especially in Britain after Live Aid happened. And he's been coasting off of that literally for the past 40 years. And he has not let the legacy of "Do They Know It's Christmas" die. There have been several updates to this song over the years. The one that I wanted to bring up was called Band-Aid 20. This is in 2004, 20 years after the first one. They did an updated version of "Do They Know It's Christmas," which again became the Christmas #1. And this new version featured instrumentation from Paul McCartney, Tom York and Johnny Greenwood from Radiohead, and Dan and Justin Hawkins from The Darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? It also featured vocals from Bono, Chris Martin, Dido, Snow Patrol, a whole ton of others. Like, basically, they're just dragging into the studio everybody who was big from England at that point. So let's flash it back 20 years and play Do They Know It's Christmas by Band-Aid 20.
If the tables turn, would you survive? Here's to them underneath that burning sun. You ain't gotta feel guilt, just selfless. Give a little help to the helpless. Do they know it's Christmas time at all?
I'm sorry, there's just something that feels inappropriate to me about a rap bridge in this song. All right, give it up. Don't know it's Christmas.
They're trying to keep it modern, Cal.
Yeah.
You know, like...
Trying to keep food in your mouth, trying to keep water in your belly.
Yeah, I mean, you've been going on about it for 20 years. Like, they should know it's Christmas by now. Like, if they still don't know it's Christmas, maybe you need to change your messaging a little bit.
Oh, God. You know, it's funny, no matter how much they dress it up with different celebrities and in modern production, like, I still think the lyrics are shitty.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, they did just do Band-Aid 40, which is in the running potentially to be a Christmas #1 this year. First of all, if that happens, guys, we need to enforce a military blockade of the entire British Isles, because nothing should ever come in or out of that country again. Supposedly for this one, they actually changed some of the more controversial lyrics. Like, I forget what it was, but like that Bono lyric, "Tonight be glad it's them instead of you," was changed to like something like a lot more like anodyne, you know?
The one I get stuck in my head the most is "Nothing Ever Grows." Like their entire country is just the shitty part of Lion King.
Yeah,
the dark place or whatever.
Dark place, yeah.
It's like, no, guys, shit grows. They have food.
Yeah, just not as much this year.
Yeah, you can help someone with their misfortune without painting their land like this desolate place.
I know. And the thing is, Ethiopia actually is facing like another set of like problems specifically right now. But again, just like the first time, it's all entirely political. Like, it's all entirely due to the ongoing government disputes between the central government and the Tigray province.
But do they know it's Christmas 40's coming out? Like, that'll fix everything.
Yeah, we got to rush those singles over to Addis Ababa, because, like, you know, they're not going to lay down the guns until they know that it's Christmas.
Yeah, once they know what Christmas is, they'll be like, oh.
It's like, oh, wait, Bono's telling us not to starve each other? Okay. No, but Band-Aid, it'll never die. Like Bob Geldof is going to haunt society with his achievement forever and ever. But this is just one example of a charity song that became the Christmas #1 on the strength of like, oh, well, it's for charity, you know, like you buy this song, the money in theory goes to something good, and you don't have to listen to or like the song. You know, you just have to feel good that you paid £1 to get it on the air. There's a similar example to this. In 2011, the Christmas #1 was a song called Wherever You Are by the Military Wives Choir. And that was literally a group made up of women whose husbands had been stationed overseas in, you know, like Iraq and Afghanistan. And like the goal was to provide comfort to the family members of people who are serving in the military. I don't have a joke for that. I'm not going to make fun of it, but like, it's just an example of like the kinds of things that can end up as somehow a Christmas #1. Now, occasionally, the UK Christmas #1 will be something that's neither a Christmas song nor a regular pop song, nor a charity song, but rather what I'm going to delicately classify as random-ass bullshit. For instance, in the year 2000, the Christmas number one was the theme song for the children's TV show Bob the Builder. Bob the Builder.
Can he fix it?
Bob the Builder.
Yes, we can.
That was the Christmas number one.
That's a banger.
Yeah.
Is it any less musically complicated than like the Black Eyed Peas? Not really.
Not really, no. Would you blast it in your car on the way to work? Would you buy a CD single of the Bob the Builder song so that your son could play it day in and day out while you're trying to have dinner, while you're trying to have guests over, watch football? You know,
that's my fear with anything like this. I might have said yes to you, Nick, but I have a son and he would destroy it.
That's what happened to an entire generation of British parents in the 2000s. But even that pales in comparison to what happened in 1993, when the honor of Christmas number one went to a horrifying, God-forsaken creature that British people insist was massively popular during the 90s. His name was Mr. Blobby. Okay, Cal, I have on your screen an image of Mr. Blobby. Do your best. Paint a picture for the audience. Tell them what we are looking at.
He looks like a jaundiced fetus clown creature. It's a pink blob man full of yellow spots. His liver's clearly failing him. And clown makeup?
Yeah.
He looks squishy. I mean, he's blobby, as his name would suggest.
He is blobby. He is very latexy. He feels like a misshapen sex toy that got rejected from the factory, thrown into a dustbin, and then like magically whisked to life by some like wizard's apprentice.
Well, and I'm doing my best not to just talk about how fucking weird British people are, but if this was truly popular, you guys are weird. No,
this is like, again, this whole episode is just a doctoral thesis of how the British people are insane. It's really terrifying that we allowed these people to install governments in so many countries around the world.
I'll look past the fact that you colonized everywhere in search of spices you never used on any of your food. I'll look past that.
But you can't look past this.
Mr. Blobby is a travesty.
You have no idea, Cal, because we haven't even seen or heard Mr. Blobby. We're going to talk about him in a little bit and where he actually came from. But first, I want to show you guys the Mr. Blobby song that dominated the UK Christmas chart in 1993. Again, guys, I'm going to implore you to check out our YouTube playlist. You got to see this thing for yourselves.
Still just sitting here with my mouth open. Nick, you've shown me a lot of things through the course of the show. I don't think I've ever been genuinely speechless. Is this... I feel like I need John Oliver to contextualize this for me.
Oh, my God, yeah. Well, let me do my best. And to be fair, I've read a lot of like comments and like, YouTube videos about Mr. Blobby and Reddit posts and shit like that. And there's so many comments I see to the effect of like British people saying like, imagine trying to explain this to an American in 2024.
Here's my best guess at what I just witnessed. This is an inside joke that went way too far. Like maybe this started innocently enough and they just kept saying, wouldn't it be funny if this Mr. Blobby was in bigger, crazier things over and over? And that's what I'm seeing.
You're not super far off from what I understand. So Mr. Blobby began life as a character on the variety show called Noel's House Party. And the gimmick was that this guy was supposed to be like, it's this big character in a gigantic latex costume that just looks completely inhuman, has these horrifying eyes, and only says his own name, but in a really weird, warped, like electronic voice.
Is he like a British Mr. Bill? If you remember what that was, it was like a little claymation guy.
Oh,
and he would go, oh no, and get like run over by cars and shit.
A little bit, maybe.
Okay.
Like kind of, but like it was less that like Mr. Bill was like the hapless victim, and Mr. Blobby was like the perpetrator,
the active antagonist.
Like he was like kind of imagine a children's TV show anti-hero, if you will. Like,
so he's like a chaos demon.
Kind of, yeah. So like what they would do is, this variety show, they would invite guests on to perform their like talent. Like let's say like they invite on a cook to show you how to make a souffle, or a magician to show a magic trick. And then they invite Mr. Blobby on to like be part of that process. And they pretend that Mr. Blobby is a legitimate character from a children's TV show, but actually he just runs around knocking shit over and like causing all kinds of chaos.
All right, that's kind of funny, Britain.
Yeah. No, it's a funny concept because they did it kind of Jackass style, where the guests were the unwitting victims of Mr. Blobby's insanity. But then, as you kind of hinted at, Cal, it ended up going too far. Like they started doing things where like Mr. Blobby would go out in public, Mr. Blobby would like be at football matches. Mr. Blobby would just be on these other British TV shows.
I don't care how big of a Mr. Blobby fan you happen to be. Putting that song on of your own free will is a crime.
No, you'd have to be psychotic to listen to that for fun. But he started out as this like parody of a children's TV show character, and then he became legitimately popular with children. So there was like Blobby Mania. There were several Mr. Blobby theme parks that opened in Britain.
Fuck that, dude. You can make a horror movie set in one of those.
No, they actually, there are several YouTube videos that are just exploring abandoned Mr. Blobby theme parks.
All right, I'm going to check that out right after this.
It is a fucking horror movie, so definitely check that out if you get the chance. This is just a classic example of a thing that they just milked way too far. Like maybe it's like the Hawk Tuah of the British people in the 90s, At one point, actually, they recorded an entire album of Mr. Blobby music. So we're going to listen to a little bit of that just because you have to hear how far they were willing to go with this.
Oh, Mike Blobby had a farm.
Blobby, blobby, blob.
And on that farm he had a slug.
Blobby, blobby, blob.
With a here and a there, everywhere. Oh, Mike Blobby had a farm.
Blobby, blobby, blob.
I don't know what to say to that.
That is the worst thing the UK has ever done.
I mean, obviously, there's a lot of like genocides and like things on their
I would
ledger,
pay a human cost to uncreate that album.
Do you think that like if we gave them their empire back, they would stop doing shit like this?
I don't know. That just might encourage them.
Is this their way of holding the entire world ransom?
I think it's that.
It's like, okay, let's take down the American flag. Fucking Kenya, Australia, open your doors. The redcoats are coming back.
I thought you were saying like it was an existential threat. Like if we let them come back.
No,
we're going to get a sequel to the Blobby album.
No, I think we're going to get a sequel to the Blobby album if they don't, if we don't let them reconquer the world.
There you go, Britain. That's your way back in.
Yeah. Now, as that previous example demonstrates, the winner of the UK Christmas #1 is often reflective of greater cultural dynamics in Britain at large. And fittingly then, most of the number ones throughout the 2000s were drawn from TV competition shows such as The X Factor. Like, everybody knows this. You could not get away from those fucking contest shows.
God damn it, Simon Cowell.
Yeah. Even to this day, a little bit, but especially when they first came out, like, those just dominated everything.
I mean, they're still on, but I think it's like diehard fans that still like that stuff.
Yeah, it's like
it's not as pervasive.
Yeah, it's like you don't know the names of every winner of American Idol now, but like back then there was like this annual tradition basically where whoever won the X Factor would get the Christmas number one almost by default, and you'd be forced to fucking listen to that shit on the radio. And so for like over a decade basically, the poor British public was subject to god-awful, manufactured fucking drivel such as this.
Well, I know I've acted foolish, but I promise you no more. I finally found there's something worth reaching for. I'm not here to say I'm sorry. I'm not here to lie to you. I'm here to say I'm ready. I finally thought it through. I'm not here to let your love go. I'm not giving up. Oh no. I'm here to win your heart and soul. That's my ego.
You failed.
Now he succeeded. I mean, that was Shane Ward from his song That's My Goal from, I think, 2007 or 2006.
God, I did not expect this special to be such a portrait of an empire past its prime.
I mean, to be fair, we're ones to talk. But,
no, we're in our decline. We'll be joining them shortly.
Yeah, this is a harrowing dystopian future of where American culture is headed. You know, where the annual competition show is going to be Kid Rock's Rockin' Rodeo, and we're going to be forced to listen to some white power anthem by whoever wins that contest.
It's like
every year.
That book Infinite Jest everyone pretends they finished.
Yeah.
Where he's got the different, even like years are sponsored by people now, or months. So it's like April brought to you by Pampers, or like.
Oh, I'm surprised they haven't done that already. Tesla could project its logo onto the moon. I'm sure they have the technology to do it with SpaceX. Like, why? I hate to give this asshole any ideas, but like, I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to do that. To just there's you look up at the full moon, and it's a big X on there.
If you could do that, I'd let you have it.
Yeah,
because the moon is so much bigger than you'd think. That'd be incredible. All right, Elon, do that.
Yeah.
Instead of ruining everyone's life, do that.
Yeah, just take a break from whispering in Trump's ear and try to put an X on the moon. But that's the kind of shit that like was winning every year.
That's because I feel like the 2000, maybe like 6 to 12 was a cultureless time.
Oh, it was dark.
For everybody.
Yeah, like very unimaginative. Like all those songs, they were never original. They were never written by the artist. Usually they were covers that were demonstrably worse than the original. What I love about that song in particular is because the lyrics are actually like really on the nose.
Right.
Like, it's like, that's
I just want you to like me.
I really just like, I won the X Factor. Look at me. I'm happy for myself. Be happy for me too. Like, it's childish. But here's the good news. Eventually, after like a full decade of this crap, some people with decent taste got fed up and they decided to take revenge. So in 2009, there was this viral movement that started on Facebook to try to give the Christmas number one to somebody who wasn't a Simon Cowell manufactured, non-artist. And they successfully rallied enough people in Britain to hand the official UK Christmas number one to Rage Against the Machine and their song Killing in the Name.
Fuck yeah.
This is the high point, the moral high point of this story.
That is awesome.
This is a fucking great thing that this guy and his wife did. Now, Originally, they tried to do this in 2008, except that for that year, they used Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up.
Try and Rickroll a nation.
Yeah, they thought Rickrolling was the path to doing this, but it just kind of didn't quite gain enough traction. So they did it again with Rage Against the Machine. And I think it worked because that song is a lot more poignant as a message. And like, just fuck you, I won't do what you tell me is just, it was a very anti-establishment year for like all of society in general. So it was just a perfect time to try to mobilize around that. And apparently like a lot of legitimate artists expressed sympathy for the movement. I'm told that Dave Grohl, Prodigy, and even Paul McCartney like this concept.
Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me.
Yeah.
Quite pervasive.
And Rage Against the Machine themselves were enthusiastic about it. They started a charity to donate all profits from that song that year to a local homeless shelter network. Yeah.
They watched it work before with Band-Aid.
Yeah, absolutely. Like this is like Band-Aid, but the song is actually good.
It's for charity. You have to vote for it.
And I imagine the charity probably got vetted, you know? So it's awesome. So, scoring the coveted number one entitled Rage to play their classic song live on the BBC. Now, prior to the performance, producers had politely urged the band to remove the infamous line, "Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me."
I love this so much. I can just picture them being like, can you go tell them not to say that part? What is the part? Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. I don't think they're going to listen.
but could you just this one time do what we tell you to do? Like just like for the children, you know. Now Rage, surprise, surprise, ignored this directive, leading to this iconic moment in British broadcasting history.
I won't do what you tell me. I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do what you
Get rid of it. Sorry, we needed to get rid of that because that suddenly turned into something we were not. We were expecting it and asked them not to do it, and they did it anyway. So by Joe's records, it's 3.
I won't do what you tell me.
Oh my god.
Get rid of it! Get rid of it!
The most predictable car crash we could have ever.
I know, it's like it's so obvious, and yet that the moment still lands when they actually do it and the producers panic. You could feel the chaos in that producer's room.
I just think it's literally like, if I hold this fresh meat in front of this tiger, do you think he'll come after it? Like, how do you sit there in that room when that part's coming up and expect them not to do it?
Right. They'd be pussies if they didn't.
Oh, yeah.
The whole point of this entire campaign was to say, fuck you.
I mean, what if he did censor himself and then after they're like, Zach, why didn't you do the part? And he's like, well, they told me not to do it.
You know, I've realized over the years that when I was young and immature, like I like to say "fuck you," I won't do what you tell me. But like now, I'm more of a socially conscious individual, and I realize that we're part of a society, and we have an obligation to make sure that young children, have an environment where they can grow and be, socially responsible citizens.
In fact, I kind of get off on people telling me what to do now. What I learned by doing what people tell me, I have more structure in my life. I found I really liked that.
Yeah, so yeah, that was awesome, and I would love it if something like that happened again. Like, let's get fucking Cannibal Corpse for I'm sure they have a Christmas
song.
Can
you guys please skip Icon Blood and maybe skip Hammer Smash Face? Meat Hook Sodomy would be all right. That one's
yeah, so that benefits the butchers. Now, of course, the tradition of Christmas number ones continued to evolve with the times, and that includes the rise of social media and YouTube. By this point, the singles chart formula had been altered to include streaming and online video plays, and this was reflected in 2018 when, for the first time, a pair of YouTubers took the top spot.
Oh, I'm sure the quality will skyrocket now.
Yeah, and this is another thing that we have already talked about in our 2022 special. We talked about Lad Baby a little bit.
Lad Baby is the only reason I had to do any research at all for a Christmas special. Because when I first heard the song, I didn't understand what was happening.
And you tried to explain it to me, but it was only when I actually started looking into these guys that I realized, oh, I understand why everyone hates these motherfuckers.
It's not just them. It's YouTube families in general. I mean, this was like maybe it's still happening, but my kids are aged out of it. It was like a 4-year phenomenon for me.
Yeah.
Where our middle kid was super into this genre of YouTube video for a while.
Yeah.
And I fucking hated it because I feel like I'm watching these parents give their children lasting trauma for our entertainment.
They're definitely exploiting their children who are too young to consent to like anything that's involved with viral fame. But these guys in particular, the whole gimmick is that, he's like a dad. He's got like all these working class ideas, about how to raise children. And like, he's not just going to build a crib. He's going to build a crib out of some like scrap wood that he found in a junkyard. Like, it's just on and on with all this shit like that. And he brings his wife home and she pretends to be surprised, even though the whole thing is obviously scripted. Like, that's what pisses me off, is like, it's presented as authentic, but this whole thing is so fucking fake.
Oh yeah. They have like months of ideas banked up.
Yeah.
What are we going to do today?
It's just like, it's acting, but it's bad acting. And that is true of every YouTube family as well. But this YouTube family specifically, they consist of Mark Ian Hoyle and his wife Roxanne, plus their 2 sons. And they started this Lad Baby channel ostensibly to give funny tips on how to manage life with young children. But starting in 2018 and continuing through 2022, the Lad Baby channel scored 5 consecutive Christmas #1s by releasing a series of heavily auto-tuned covers of songs, parodies, basically themed around sausage rolls.
God, fuck you, UK.
I wish there was more to it than that, but that's basically the long and short of it.
That is where culture's at, though.
Yeah.
I can't even act like we're better.
No, we're not. But still, like, just watching any one of those videos is beyond insufferable, as we'll see in just a moment. But the genius thing that they did is these guys are definitely graduates of the Bob Geldof school of, yeah, it's terrible, but it's for charity, so you have to buy this song. They did that because all of the sales from the songs that they released went to this organization called the Trussell Trust, which is a Christian charity that supports food bank centers throughout the UK. So it's like, yeah, it everything that this couple does is really tailored to that fucking low IQ housewife and house husband kind of person who just have no critical thinking skills, laugh at the absolute dumbest fart jokes, and drink the cheapest beer that they can find. So I had a lot to choose from, not counting the last year. I think that we did the 2021 song that they did with Elton John and Ed Sheeran.
Yep, that was the one.
That, I would say, that is the best of the 5 that I saw.
Well, and that's the thing. It's on Rate Your Music's worst, and I think that's only because people were fucking sick of this family by then.
Yeah.
But given that was their 5th try, I bet you it probably was the most tolerable.
Yes. So I'm going to play for you the first one that they did. This is their take on We Built This City on Rock and Roll. This is We Built This City on Sausage Rolls.
This city, come on, babe. We built this city on sausage rolls.
It's not bad, that.
It's alright, yeah. My lyrics are epic, aren't they?
Stay in tune.
If you've never had one and don't recognise the taste, it's a cylindrical bit of pork wrapped in a puff pastry case. Beige baked and golden, holier than grace. Grab it whilst it's piping hot and shove it in your face. They're party-sized and footnote. Listen to your belly grow. Don't you remember? We built this city. We built this city on sausage rolls.
I've never tried a sausage roll, and frankly, I now never even want to see one. I don't want to be in the same fucking room as one.
I mean, they look pretty good, actually, but this guy's kind of like ruining the whole concept for me.
God damn it, man. That hurt.
It's rough, dude. It's really rough.
I mean, at least Paul McCartney wrote Having a Wonderful Christmas Time.
Yeah, he tried, you know? Even Band-Aid, like they wanted it to sound good. They brought people to the studio who know how to sing.
This was so fucking low effort.
Yeah.
UK, what have you done?
This is again a broken society that has lost its empire. This is the kind of shit you see. And much like with the controversies that surrounded Band-Aid, people make the criticism that like, okay, like you're patting yourself on the back for raising all this money for food banks. And that is nice. That is a good thing to do. But in a society with as much hunger and homelessness and poverty as the UK has, isn't the real solution something on a more substantial, governmental level?
Yes, correct. This is a Band-Aid, if you will.
Right. So to that end, I find this kind of quote from a 2019 Guardian interview kind of interesting. So they interviewed Mark Hoyle and they asked him who he had voted for in the recent UK general election. And Mark declined to admit who he had voted for because at the time, the Conservative government, which ultimately won that election, they were promising to pass these massive austerity measures, which, were going to undoubtedly impact the lives of millions of poor people in the country and make them a lot more food insecure than they already were. So like, hey, you're this guy that's all about feeding people.
Well, if you feed them, how can I have another hit song?
It's like, well, what if they're doing so well because they have a good job with good benefits? They'll turn down me sausage rolls. What will I do then? How many clicks am I going to get? So Mark insisted that people needed to have faith in the new Conservative government, saying, quote, "I'm sure they're going to do a great job."
Oh my God. I bet you he was a Brexit voter.
I mean, I don't want to speak too out of turn because I don't know these people or their culture well enough, but they have the vibe of a couple that would be, low key right wing.
This feels like exactly what we see in our country.
Yeah.
With the average Trump voter.
Absolutely.
What they say they want and what they vote for are not aligned, but good luck convincing them of that.
Yeah. Working class people who have convinced themselves that the way to economic health is by handing billionaires more money and fewer regulations and oversight. Now, thankfully, Lad Baby declined to release a Christmas song for the years 2023 and 2024. So that's a good news.
He's merciful.
This plague is over with now. Now, perhaps this couple was content to rest on their laurels after scoring 5 consecutive number ones, something that not even the Beatles could accomplish in their heyday. Or perhaps they're astute enough to realize that if they went any further, the backlash might grow so strong as to obliterate their reputation entirely.
Somehow I doubt that. These families are not self-aware enough to know when their brand is tanking.
I actually disagree with that, Cal. I think that these guys are so business savvy that they did pull back.
They were looking at their likes to dislikes ratio.
They were looking at their likes to dislikes ratio and it's like, okay, we could still milk the audience we currently have, but we can't engender the hatred of 65 million people against us and still expect our kids to be able to go to school in safety.
Right.
I will just say that even with them out of the picture, the fact that they managed to score 5 consecutive number one hits proves, as we now know amply, that democracy is fucking bollocks.
Nope.
So with the curse of Lad Baby out of the picture, the 2023 UK Christmas number one went to Wham's Last Christmas, a holiday staple released nearly 40 years prior. And while I'm sure many people are sick of that song after hearing it year after year in every grocery store you visit, for Wham itself, or the surviving member of Wham, there's a kind of bittersweet justice in clinching the top spot in 2023. You see, George Michael wrote Last Christmas in 1984 with the specific intention of having a Christmas number 1. Unfortunately, that year they were beat out by Band-Aid's charity juggernaut Do They Know It's Christmas? Which, to be fair, also featured George Michael on vocals. Still, the late Wham singer would almost certainly be overjoyed to learn that after 4 decades, he's finally achieved his goal.
Validation.
Yeah.
No, is this... The internet had something to do with this, I'm sure.
I believe that part of the reason that this song was this successful this recently is because of the influence that Spotify playlists now have on modern singles charts. You know, like, playlists dominate everything, and playlists are curated by people who know what they're doing and, you know how to pick the songs that will maximize people's attention and make them feel happy enough to buy more things in whatever establishment they happen to be at. Mm-hmm. And this song has been such a feature of Christmas playlists for so long that alone was enough to propel it to number 1 in the absence of a gimmicky single about sausage rolls. I wouldn't put it past Lad Baby to find some AI program to have George Michael singing about sausage rolls.
Bring him back.
Wake me up before you eat sausage rolls. In fact, Lad Baby, come back and do that. I want to... that's a level of insult I'd be willing to countenance. So this song was released in 84. It didn't become a hit until 2023. That is officially the longest amount of time it has ever taken a song to become a Christmas number 1 after its initial release.
Yep. Just a late bloomer.
Yeah. I mean, maybe this will become a top 10 podcast in 2059.
That would actually be ideal for us.
Yeah. Because then
no one would care about any clips we used or anything like that.
Yeah, we can't get fired from whatever jobs we still manage to hold by then. Yep. So yeah, if you're listening to this in the future, hope you're doing well, and I hope Baron Trump is making some wise decisions.
Hopefully the water wars are treating you well.
Yeah,
you can look back at this time before we were fighting over the drops that were left.
Yeah, I hope everyone in their household managed to spear a tiny rat with a stick today for their daily meal. But even though it took nearly 40 years for Last Christmas to become an official Christmas number 1, its mere existence proves why record companies are so keen on making Christmas music in the first place. Most songs, even hit songs, peter out and fade away after their initial run. And unless they end up on a soundtrack or a commercial, they might be forgotten altogether. But if you're lucky enough to score a Christmas hit, you can guarantee that song will be played every year in December, whether it's in a pub, a shopping mall, or on radio. Indeed, Wham's Last Christmas is actually the 3rd most successful single in UK history, a fact driven entirely by its perennial spot in Christmas playlists. The Christmas number 1 offers artists a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity not just to have a hit, but to become an indelible part of the Western world's most cherished holiday.
It's like a deal with the devil.
It is. Except that the devil is Jesus.
We were talking why is Christmas music so soulless? I think that after 4 specials of doing this might sum up the thesis. It's you are going to give up whatever artistic merit you have temporarily to make one fucking song because you know it's a steady paycheck every December.
It is, yeah. Like it's just such a good deal for the artists and the labels, even when it's annoying as fuck to the rest of us. Mm-hmm. So who will be this year's UK Christmas number 1? Well, frankly, I don't actually care. I'm
putting my money on a Mr. Blobby comeback.
Yeah, right.
It's been what, 20 years ish. It's time.
30 years. Yeah. It's that's the nostalgia trap. You got to watch out for anything that was popular 30 years ago. No matter how bad it was, people want it back.
You'll at least see it in like a beer commercial.
Oh, for sure.
It's like hey, remember this thing?
Yeah.
They'll at least go that far.
Does Mr. Blobby drink the beers?
Gets even more chaotic.
Mr. Blobby's a little bit bloated. His eyes are a little bit jaundiced now. He's been having a rough couple of years. I don't have the energy or will to subject you to all the potential candidates for this year. Frankly, you should be thanking me. And honestly, given this show's track record, I'd be amazed if we even released this episode in time for Christmas.
We'll do our best.
However, if any of you Brits are still listening, I'd like to offer my own suggestion for what should be your Christmas number one, whether it's this year, next year, or any year in the near future.
Santa Claus is a black man. Santa Claus is a black man. He's handsome, blind with attitude. Yes, he is. Santa Claus is a black man. Santa Claus is a black man. Oh, I found out. That's why I'm telling you. Listen to me, people now. Santa Claus is a black man. Santa Claus is a black man. He's handsome, like my attitude.
That might be my favorite Christmas song of all time.
Mine might be DMX Rudolph.
Okay, yeah. Either one. You get to choose between one of those two. DMX Rudolph or Teddy Van's Santa Claus is a Black Man. Don't let us down, British people. You did it with rage. You can do it for us.
Yep.
Don't let your culture go down the toilet. Save yourselves from the scourge of bad music.
Simon Cowell does not own you. You are free from him.
Yes, free yourselves from Simon. All right, that's all I got. Any concluding thoughts, Cal?
No, man,
Christmas?
it's gonna be nog time soon. My favorite part of Christmas.
Yes, eggnog, a little bit of brandy. Are you more of a cold eggnog cocktail or a Tom and Jerry kind of guy?
Cold.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know what it is. I've always loved eggnog.
Yeah,
I understand the people that don't. I get it. It's kind of gross and weird, but I love it.
No, eggnog is amazing. All right, well, that's all we got for you folks. I hope everybody has a wonderful holiday season wherever or however you celebrate. Actually, if you're a Muslim or a Jewish person, I hope you have a better holiday, a better Christmas than any living Christian. You know, I hope just everything breaks your way. You get all the green lights as you drive down the street, and you know some hot girl just hits on you at a gas station.
You know, hey, maybe for the next holiday special, that's what we should do. Instead of Christmas songs, let's find some bad Kwanzaa and Hanukkah songs.
Let's find some bad Hansa and Hanukkah songs. Yeah, we will be equal opportunity offenders in 2025. All right. Thank you guys for sticking with us. I know it's been a difficult year. We, haven't put out stuff as fast as we wanted to for a variety of reasons, but rest assured, we are going to bring you some more ridiculousness in 2025. And I have a bit of a semi-announcement to make. We've been doing a lot of thinking behind the scenes, and I've been reaching out to a lot of our hardcore fans, and the lineup for 2025, more so than any other year, is going to be artists that fans have specifically requested or asked us to do. So, 2025 is the year of the fan. You guys have been sticking with us for 4 years now. We're super grateful for you. We want to honor that in some way. So I can't guarantee, obviously, that we're going to do everyone, but I have a whole lineup picked out of artists based off of what people have been specifically asking us to cover. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be a very, very fun year. All right. Be sure to follow us on social media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are on Instagram at polishing.podcast. Our email is polishingturdspodcast@gmail.com. And of course, if you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple or whatever, be sure to give us a 5-star rating, even and especially if you don't think it deserves 5 stars, because it's for charity.
Yeah.
People are fucking dying. They need those sausage rolls. All right, that's it. Rock over London. Rock on Madison. United Healthcare. Healing healthcare together.
Topical.
Christmas, everyone! Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas, all!
I'm Dr. Timothy Johnson. Later on Nightline, it's a controversy about life and death. Do you keep a doomed baby alive so its organs can be used to save the lives of others?
No. But yeah,